Running a little late today, but I'm still keeping up with our 25 Days of Christmas. Hi, this is Kelly with Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and today is day 3 of our 25 Days of Christmas. This is the card we're going to make today, and we are still working with Santa's Workshop. I'm like, it's out, why not? And I'm loosely being inspired by a card on Pinterest. And remember, I will link that down under the Inspired By in the description box below. So this is the one we're making today, and I've done 2 of them. Well, this one, and we're going to do one that is a tent card, and then the other 3 are book style. And I kind of messed up this morning, and that's why it's taken me so long to get here. Is at first I thought Santa was cut out in a circle. So you don't want to know how many of these I messed up before I realized, wait a minute, there's a die. So I have the die on this one that I can cut him out when we're done and trying not to waste anything. I've also used the die to cut out the wagon and the packages for the inside. I'm trying really hard to make sure that I decorate the inside of my cards this year. Now, she used a big multi-circle embossing folder on hers. I chose to use this snowflake from Darice that I got probably at a Tuesday morning years ago. And I'm trying to use my embossing folders more, and I'd like to ask, do you have embossing folders, and have you forgotten they're in your stash and you're not using them? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, before I lose these, I'm going to get them put back on there. Now, I'm going to leave Santa off. He goes down here, and there's Mrs. Claus. But I'm going to get the wagon and the packages put back on here so I don't lose them. And we can use this one down a little bit and stick my packages there. And then I'll have this one ready to put away just as soon as I cut out that other Santa. I also used the layering circles from Stampin' Up. And let me see, I think I used, did I use this one? Yeah, I used this one, second largest of the scallop for the background on the garden green. And then I used this one, second largest for the circle that I put Santa on. So using my dies, trying to use my stamps, trying to use my embossing folders. So let's put this one together. I started with the card base in garden green. Decided I wanted to do a couple in tent again also, and I have this and I have this. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces on before I lose track of them. And I tell you, I wouldn't have wanted to fussy cut these little bitty items, but they do add quite a bit to the picture itself. And I'm going to come in here with my tweezers and see if I can use less glue on my fingers and more on my project. And then I have a dried out baby wipe that I'm just diving that on, and it's picking up the extra glue. I'll do the same thing with these packages. Now, I could have put these on mini dimensionals, but that starts adding bulk, and bulk starts adding to having to pay extra for a card to go in the mail. And I'm determined while I have forever Christmas stamps this year, I'm determined to try and stay within the rules of 1 first-class stamp, and that's going to be it. And since I didn't mail as many Christmas cards last year as I normally do, now I am going to wind up spending a little bit more on some of my Christmas cards, because I have some that I ship to my What's on Your Work Desk Wednesday group, and most of them are across the pond. And here's something to think about. If you have a blog and you'd like to try picking up a little extra traffic to your blog, join us on What's on Your Work Desk Wednesday. And the link is always in the bottom of one of my Wednesday posts on my blog, but I will try to remember to link it down below. You post a picture, brief picture of your desk, chat a little about what you're working on. And there we go. We are working on 892 consecutive weeks that now I've not been with all of them, but this group has been going for 892 weeks. I think that's amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and then it's a weekly blog hop. You post your picture and your link to the group, and then you go visit everybody else's and leave love. And if nothing else, it brings you up some love once a week. Brings your numbers up on your blog. So I have that. Now I did take Santa and I put him on dimensionals. Where's my Tim Holtz pokey tool here? And I only used 3. One there, one up here by what would be the list, and one towards his feet, and that's all I used for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and put him on here. Trying to get some of the low pieces out of the way so I don't lose them in the shuffle on the desk. And then just drop him right there on the circle. Okay, next, let's start decorating the outside. I have this snowflake embossed. This one, and our card bases are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which means our mat becomes 4 by 5 1/4. Shrinks it down 1/4 inch all the way around. And in a minute, I'm going to show you a new tool Bob found for me yesterday. Now I'm going to make sure I get some glue in these little snowflakes so that they've got some adhesion. And we're going to center that right on our card front as best we can. And so I get less glue on my fingers. I'm going to mush it down here. Now to work that glue into those, I'm going to flip this over. And here's what Bob found me yesterday. It's like the one from Dollar Tree, except it's got a smaller roller on the back as well. $1.99 at Hobby Lobby. And that's, you can't push. I've got to see if I can pinch these into the roller a little deeper. You can't push very hard. But we're going to see if Bob or I can fix that. And this is letting that glue mush into the wells on that embossing folder of those snowflakes. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside. And now we're going to mount this. This is 2 1/2, I believe. Yeah. This is 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. Yes. 5 1/2 by 2 1/2, which means this one is 5 1/2 by 2 3/4. When I get caught up, I want to go back and add the dimensions to my blog posts. But right now, with the 4th of July coming up tomorrow, I just want to try and get ahead through 2 or 3 days. And I think I'm going to start posting my cards on my blog on Fridays. And I will have the card picture and then the dimensions if I can do them. Okay, now this one goes on the front up here. And while normally I would put a little extra glue here, I wouldn't put in a little extra glue here. I am, because I want it to really stick to those snowflakes and get a good adhesion. Now this goes quite a bit over, and it might be a little bit long. I might have to trim it down a little bit, but I'm going to take my roller and push that down a little bit so it pushes into those snowflakes. And then this one really gets trimmed down. Let me find my little scissors. Because you get 5 of these. Now this is the pattern that's on the back of the polka dots. And you trim these really close to those elves because you want it to fit across here. But don't try to cut it by measurement. Just cut it close to those elves and you'll be fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. If you hear a mower in the background, Bob is trying to get the weed heads knocked down, get the mowing done before tomorrow. So tonight we're going to cook out and just enjoy the evening out. And then tomorrow, I'm not sure what we're doing for 4th. up to me, I'd stay home. But that's just me. I love going and seeing fireworks in person. And I know that people are going all out for their fireworks this year. I just hate crowds. I just don't like crowds and the stupid people everybody trying to leave at once when the event is over. I don't care. If I'm going to go, I'm going to sit there till the very last firework goes off and the very last car is out, and then I'll fall in line behind the rest of them. Okay, so there's our cards for this week. I'm going to have a total of 5 again, and you know what I'm looking forward to the most? Whoops. I love to have my cards mailed the day after Thanksgiving, except for my ones that have to go overseas, and I try to mail those by November 1st. So, and I'm usually behind because I'm doing everything else, and that's why I chose to do cards for the 25 days of Christmas, because now I will have all my Christmas cards done by the end of July. So that's going to do it for me in the studio today. Tell me what you thought of this one, and I will see you tomorrow with day 4 for Independence Day. In the meantime, please remember to like, to share, subscribe, and as always, creative blessings.